Alright, guys. For the first time, we're gonna review Moon. Funny enough, I've discovered Moon not long time ago when he had 100,000 subscribers. Now he's at 1 million. Probably gonna keep growing because, it's high quality shit. It's still shit though. Like, there's certain opinions that can be twisted, right? Certain ways you can talk about certain topics. Funny enough, I made a video about loneliness like 3 days ago. So it's ridiculously relevant, and we have to review the whole thing. Oh, wait. I have to go on a date. Mm hmm. Yes, I just do online dates because, I'm lonely and stuff. I just look at pictures. But, I mean, the world has changed. Back in the day, you wouldn't have this, guys. You just wouldn't have this. All right. So, yeah, you're lonely, but you have a fucking phone. It's different. All right. The world has shifted, and we have different problems. And whoever can transcend those problems will become rich and famous and whatnot. And whoever just sits there, staring at their phone, they're gonna see that the phone does not solve everything. Just because it was invented, it sucks your attention, and you can complain about it. You can say it's a conspiracy of some kind and act as a conspiracy victim. It's a new term now. It's a conspiracy victim. Victimizing yourself that, people are projecting fake personalities on Instagram. Yeah, sure. Or on YouTube. I've seen Anthony bring out OG YouTubers, and they just kind of talk about how fake they were, on YouTube. And it's like, yeah, you're a fucking actor. Big deal. We have seen that before. We have seen people being fake and being in different characters. So it's not that crazy to think about it. Unless you want it to be real, unless you were just vlogging around, which is, it's just unrealistic, basically, on social media. Because you have to build something positive. You're gonna try and clean up the negative stuff and not let other people see it unless it's too heavy. Like on my part, I have to live in shadow, so I complain all the time. But I also can complain about much more negative people who just either throw me one liners, they also complain, and they run away too. So they don't even finish their complaint. There's this guy, you know, who's like exploring my channel a little bit, judging me for the most part. We were back and forth with just random conversation. As you feel he's getting offended, but he doesn't know how to fucking attack you, basically. And it ends with, I won't be replying further, but go ahead. Reply yourself. Why? It was disrespect. I don't know what he's talking about, though. My channel deserves respect. Alright? And I'm not. I mean, yes, self proclaimed, but like everyone picks their own jobs as well. I'm just not getting paid for it. That's it. But yeah, basically on the internet you can find plenty of things to do if you just scratch your head enough, or watch my stuff because I'm YouTube CEO. I can teach you things, no problem. I'm not gonna have a fake image of myself because I have to pump out 1 hour videos every single day, and 1 hour videos on my second channel where I play card games. I try to keep my sanity. I try to keep everything intact because right now things are kind of messy. Kind of messy. A lot of YouTubers just like can't compete with each other because there's so much competition, there's so much choice, and people are always gonna try and gravitate towards making friends and not supporting the biggest creator of all time. So despite You know, Mr. Beast, being the biggest creator, his strategy is also to make friends, to make as many subscribers as possible, which makes him kind of relevant because he has the biggest number, but also, you know, he's showing the strategy, he's projecting the strategy of making as many friends as possible strategy that basically has shifted, not because Mr. Beast is doing it, but just in general, right? Mr. Beast is just like a projection of what's going on. The top YouTuber is a projection of what's going on in the world. Alright, so we're gonna review this thing after I do my dates. Yeah. Like, imagine, like, women fucking cosplaying and doing all these things. Yes, they're projecting unrealistic standard or whatever. People bitch about that all the time. I swear, dude. But that means it's for someone else. You know, you get to see it. If you don't like it, wow, you're a loser, basically. Because she worked very hard, as well as many, many other women worked very hard. You think it's easy to have pink hair all the time? It's not easy, man. It is not easy. It's not. It's a unique feature for a human being to have that. Yeah, this word starts 15 cigarettes a day, boys. And it's kind of true. Because it's ridiculously deadly. Ridiculously painful to deal with. If you don't know how. It's definitely gonna ruin your brain. Even I have to, you know, question all the time, like, how do I escape this fucking loneliness? How do I fix it? But at least we have technology.
You're loneliest when you're surrounded by friends and family. You can see and chat with hundreds of people and it won't make a difference. And the data backs this up. People who live alone in the UK are only slightly more likely to describe themselves as feeling lonely than people who live in a group setting. Because loneliness isn't about being solid.
First of all, it's about inequality, outcasting people, and most importantly, lack of love and care from other people. When you feel like you deserve some. I feel this every day. But hey, I figure out how to generate my own shit, and now people will have to question whether how am I so happy, you know? Eventually they will have to question.
Process. Our culture increases the amount of shallow, meaningless interactions at the expense of everything else. As you might have guessed, social media is one of
That's a vibe, isn't it? It's like everyone wants to be seen by someone. Everyone wants to be loved by someone. And honestly, that's what maturity is about being able to generate your own love and self-esteem. And not take things for granted. Because people can always tell you, you're stuck in your mom's basement, you're an incel, blah blah blah. Just try to play you down. And it's like, the joke is on you. I don't feel your struggle to try and diminish my self-esteem. But that's how they, you know, steal a nibbit of your love, basically. If there was a pea of love, then it's done by trashing someone, and you will still have to repay for that pea. $20 for that pea, my friends. Because insults don't go a really long way. I just, you know, a pea is just a proof that I can generate original things. You know, that are edible and actually help you not feel alone, not feel hopeless, feel like magic does exist and love does exist. But to actually get some, maybe you have to start by being nice. It's a good place to start, but you need to know how to move forward. So yeah, this is just a desperation, basically, to be seen by people. And not every person has good intentions, so you have to also filter those out, and you will be left with bare minimum amount of attention than you otherwise thought you had. Unless you can sell something to them, unless you can make them nice, which is a whole nother level, basically. Now you're being an influencer. It's tough.
The missions and relationships, frying your dopamine in the process. And in particular, online relationships don't let you really see the person in front of you. You can't read their body language or their facial expressions. You can't feel their physical presence and properly build.
I mean, yeah, but you still can talk to them whenever and send notifications. Of course, meeting them in real life and making memories that way is very efficient, so you must not forget about it. But technology opens up, again, opportunities. Because of the opportunities, people want to now retreat into fucking loneliest places and become unreachable. And even though you can't talk to everyone, they might not want to talk to you, which is a terrible thing, a terrible choice, I would say, to dispense someone else's care. Because I'm not a negative person, and I'm being dispensed like I'm trash, like I'm a casual fucking trash boy who you cannot be nice to. But that's the whole point. You cannot be nice to me because I see through your disguise. People want to be nice as a disguise of being nasty and very corrupting of your life, which is why I generate love in the first place. I bounce these fucking people out of my life because I see their corruption, them trying to leech off something, or just trying to take hold of me and feel that they have power, and that's their form of love, basically. Maybe they have learned that from parents, because I had a mom that just let me do whatever. Right? Didn't ask question me in any way. Didn't ask me to do anything specific. Just let me do whatever. I learned how to be playful and how to create my own games. Just maybe I was growing a lot faster than other people, and I want to retain that speed. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna give up because it seems pretty good for me, and everyone else looks like trash. So I'll take that too. I think one good strategy is to kick people out, and then come back next year and knock on their doors, basically. See if they want to talk to you. If people are butthurt and they cannot let things go, then they are not generating love anyways. So you can just let them go forever until they fucking apologize, turn things around. But it's a very easy test. When toxicity happens, when a big argument that you cannot win happens, just delay that thing to next year. And when the new year starts, you just knock on people's doors and say, like, oh, you want to have a conversation? Have you grown since that time? Have you thought about anything? The most annoying part of other people is they probably think about you, but they don't want to tell you anything about it. They don't want to express themselves, and most importantly, they don't want to be honest. In those situations, man, I mean, you can't win. But the question is, how did they win more than I do? If you look into my life and compare it to theirs, like, I would seem pathetic in that sense. But that's what they want to believe in. That's what they're gonna try and achieve. They're gonna try and achieve a position where I'm the pathetic one and they're the winners. But the tables are turning because I'm still accelerating really fast. So, despite them having crippling parents, they're rich, they're interconnected, they get the skills required. Everything I had to do everything myself. I didn't focus on power or just making maximum amount of friends. So it was a completely different lifestyle until I realized, oh, I cannot be like everyone else. I have to live in shadows. I have to live in my own way as well. And not really worry about what other people think, because they have no idea how I live. They have no input or opinion that would be helpful. Yeah. Besides just hanging out with me and spending time and talking about their life, you know. Unless they have respect. If they have respect, then it's a whole nother story. Yeah, also, whatever you're manifesting, whatever you're focusing on, it will appear in life. It will be fixed. If we're focusing on loneliness and how to fix it and not how to create loneliness, because that's the battle right now. It's the fucking rope pull from away from evil people who want other people to be lonely, other people to be rejected. It's like, I get a good job and you don't get a good job. I get a good girlfriend and you get nothing, basically. That's how the world works. And everyone wants to flex and everyone wants to show how cool they are on Instagram or whatever, but everything has to crash. We're not supposed to give them power. We're supposed to just be happy the way things are and find an actual solution instead of, feeding the devil. I just watched a clip on TikTok about how to deal with police, and I'm like, shit, I forgot. Yeah, the NPC thing. The greatest NPC thing is that most people want to just follow orders, get paid to do their job, and whatnot. You do have to deal with people, but you can just read a script and hope for the best, But yeah, when you do a job, you're still kind of forced to socialize and deal with all sorts of feelings. But if you just focus on doing your job and it's not your lifestyle, you'll get corrupted. Alright? Being a policeman is not a job, it's supposed to be a lifestyle. Otherwise, you're just a policeman. You're not there for law and order in the world. The moment you take off the uniform and take the gun away, you have no power. So if we only have people like that, the society just crumbles apart. People have to live lifestyles to be able to even build a country to begin with. That makes any sense. So this is my priming of what we're gonna dive into. But before we transition, in Lithuanian, if you just add one letter, it's friends, in like small friends. But it's weird. It's weird. It's like nice friendship. There's a Lithuanian thing. You can say son, or you can say small son, like small cute son. I guess cuteness is the thing that we have in our language that we can add to any word. So we add that to butterflies, and if we add an A, now it's cute friends, basically. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, just to give a different vibe, because you might need that instead of stock footage or whatever, stock pictures. Basically, there's always going to be like a major problem overarching certain places in the world, certain cultures, communities, whatever. And you just have to pay attention to it and try and contribute and try and fight back against the looming doom that it possesses. So, not having friends is kind of weird because it's not cool. It's just not cool enough. And it's kind of suffocating all the Earth people if we're not friendly with each other. Or we just don't have enough friends to hang out with, even if it's just fake. Like, but yeah, if there's a problem, we have to focus on it. There's always going to be a solution. And it's actually quite fun to have a problem. Just like being poor, all these creative ways that you have to come up with to survive, to make correct decisions. And I've just seen another TikTok which, highlighted a story of what it's like being poor, but, it doesn't feel like they were doing the correct decisions overall. Because you can just simply buy fruits and vegetables, yes, it's kind of boring, but once you learn how to eat that, at least you don't have to suffer, and you can actually live a much more interesting life. It's a trade-off you have to make sometimes with the devil, the biggest problem in your life. You have to make a trade-off to just have a more comfortable life, and then you can punch the devil in the nuts when you have full power to do so. You don't have the power when you're suffering. You just don't have the power to resist the evil around you.
By webcam.
And yeah, like, it's absolutely, like, everywhere, the ego of other people, they're, like, self-defensive about everything. I'm not, like, judging them straight from the bat, but I have nothing better to do than just pick on their mistakes because I'm an introvert. I've said that before. I can't control myself. I'm supposed to be approached, not the other way around. And yes, I'm not being approached because I don't look nice or whatever, but I'm still an empty space for people to contribute. And if they don't see that, there's something wrong with that as well. Like, they have to test whether I'm an evil person, whether I want to talk to them, whether I have something to offer. If you don't do that, I mean, your life is gonna suck. And just because you have relationships and you can do all sorts of things doesn't mean that you're safe enough to, like, make babies. That your child is going to be able to actually survive in such an environment where you did, because maybe you're just lucky. But luck runs out in the next stage of life, where you don't have the same strategy that you can work with. You now have to grasp for better resources each time, just to continue growing, just to live a sustainable life. Because you have to switch your strategy of life just ever so slightly, which is why you need friends, to teach you how to change things a little bit, to change your perspective a little bit. And I sort of have that through YouTube, through the internet. As funny as it is to some people, sure. This
People
is what
in China
Americans...
want to be astronauts, engineers. They don't want to be TikTok stars. And this isn't just an online...
People in China want to be robots. Yeah, I mean, every culture is different, and you can't just pinpoint of, like, oh, look what people in China are looking at. But are they having fun? Are they happier because of that? Let's double check your privilege.
effect on people.
Now, Americans have to understand, the rug will be pulled underneath their feet, and they have to settle down with that sexual fucking energy. They have to settle it down, because the $1 trillion debt is gonna kick their ass eventually. Someone's gonna collect the debt, alright? Some debt collector's gonna start buying up shit and owning really, really big things in America, just for the time being, until all the debt is repaid. The debt collector fucking company is gonna rise from the ashes, bro, of certain certain locations that get set on fire, because it's unbelievable if America is in debt and has corruption in society. Now we're talking. Now debt collectors are, all right, we can start our business. This ain't gonna be good if you lose happiness, basically. So they have to. Every culture works in a different way, and you have to appreciate, and you cannot compare it. It's difficult to compare apples with oranges if you don't treat them as fruits. You see, if you don't treat them as different types of fruits that could do different things for you, as value in general, right? So what's the value of Chinese people working for themselves? And the shit out extra products for other people all over the world if they can make a profit. But they think like robots. They have tiny hearts that can just be popped like bubbles, bro. Or just crushed with a hammer. You gotta understand strengths and weaknesses. And this is... like, now it's turning into propaganda eventually. Whatever Moon is trying to do.
people in the same way that Instagram judges and values
Dopamine is completely fine. Dopamine is a way to figure out what you like, what gets you the high, and what you are gonna try and recreate and repeat a little bit more independently, perhaps. That would be the goal. If you can do it on your own, if you can do the redneck way, basically, in the farms, can you recreate an influencer lifestyle while working in the farmlands or some bullshit like that? Like, there's challenges in America, and if you just give in to the rich people's lifestyle, you never know when the snap is gonna happen, and that shit is gonna be taken away from you because you're the target, basically, and you are not self-sufficient against dangerous strategies, just manipulative strategies that will be put against you. So, again, these people have to be reminded money has value, and your money is wanted by a lot of people, and they will do certain things to take it all back. If you have lack of self-esteem, if you're gonna bleed out, somewhere something is gonna leak out, they're gonna use it against you. It's just in our nature, unfortunately, to take back from the people who don't feel like they need the things, but they still keeping it from everyone else.
their own research that showed these negative effects. It was only when it was leaked to the press that they had to admit this. And
Remember what I said, leak? Oh, now I have to admit to the crime that I did, because I just leaked out that I did something wrong, that I feel wrong. So society catches idiots like that the same exact way. Some information leaks out, and we just use it as a weapon, as a like detection of weakness. If we detect a weakness, now it's time to investigate further.
in front of their camera
What you must also understand about Americans, they probably want to be loved. Who's gonna love them if the entirety of America is just kind of rich kid culture, right? If you're American and you can love people, you're a miracle child, and everyone is gonna flock to you to, negotiate, hopefully, right? So you're lucky if you figure out how to generate love in America. I think that's a tough one.
accommodations for their own cringeworthy posing is ridiculous. I mean, another influencer started a forest fire to try and get a cool background for a picture.
Is that an Indian? Oh man, it's not a picture though. Ain't a picture. You're wrong, Moon. I mean, now you're gonna be cool in jail. You're gonna make a lot of friends too, because you're the cool kid. Am I right? I think the way to generate love in America is to, instead of going all the way into 100% buying the most luxurious items, you have to cut it in half. just don't be tempted too much to waste all your money. Just save it up a little bit, lower the quality of your shit, but still flex the same way, and everyone around you is gonna be like, "Oh, you're not, you're not wearing designer clothes or whatever," and it's like, they're gonna start noticing you, which is exactly what the economy of attention looks like. It's people noticing you and talking about you. That's it. Hack the system, baby.
Without trains and
Yeah, basically, you don't want to live in a city because it's becoming more and more toxic. So, this is another reason to bring up the redneck farmlands adventure that you might have to slowly back away from modernization. Because even like in our little fucking town, modernizing buildings, renovating, costs so fucking much, it makes no fucking sense. They apparently run out of money. They can't convince us to do it. It's just the dumbest thing. That's like finished halfway. It's like, okay, okay. We have to pay for renovation. Can we just buy a new thing whenever we feel like? Can you just build new places? But no, bro. No, bro. There's always a way to fucking screw everyone over. And this guy's talking about, well, the cars, which are just not efficient, unfortunately. This makes no sense to me. Yes, you have a lot of freedom, but it's just like the same thing, right? I'm being rejected because people have a lot of freedom, but it's really not that efficient to do your own thing all the time, to have control over your life, and just ignore, public transport or whatever.
buses to take dozens of cars off the road each, the infrastructure just can't even keep up. And again, this affects younger people the most, as they're most likely
And, like, you have to deal with all these weird things, but yeah, in America, you have to figure out how to own a car, how to drive around, how to control that sense of freedom, and what to do while you're driving a car. All these little things. You could probably be listening to me while you're driving a car. And there's a big, big dream to the future looking like maybe AI is gonna help us drive us to places. It's still just a dream, though, it seems like. It would change everything, technically. And everything would be public transport in that sense. It would create some kind of dangers, anyways. But, I mean, it seems like a step forward. Because right now, people just kind of struggling with this massive technology that's getting printed out in a no-brain type of way. There should be just as much public transport as there are cars, or just as interconnected and just an option for you to take an easier way out. Now, the problem with public transport is that it's completely out of your control. You have to, pull out your watch, look at the time all the time, just organize yourself, which is already hard enough when you have a job somewhere where you're freelancing something. I mean, it's a tough thing. So, is there a perfect solution? I'm sure there is. I'm sure. But I'm not gonna sit on it right now. We're just gonna move
not
on.
able to afford a car. They're stuck negotiating less from their parents or just staying at home. And all of these
I mean, this is completely unacceptable, right? And usually the backseats again are not used if you watch the TikTok review mashup or whatever. What the fuss, I call it. So the backseats are like empty. So you have all these cars that could be way more efficient if either more people were sitting in these cars and they were. The best AI can do is not to control cars, but control traffic of in whose car you have to sit. It would make us safe by tracking us to make sure that everyone is going the right way. You drop off, you get to sit in strangers' cars, but like whatever, just navigate. There, there's gonna be drivers and there's gonna be navigators. Drivers would get paid. It's kind of like Super Uber, where everyone is an Uber, where everyone has to have a back seat available for people to travel in. That's an option. We have to think about it. Or again, there's big public transport, but like they're not supposed to be that big anyways. So again, AIs should be able to organize some kind of solution to this, because this is unacceptable. This is like super duper slow. And the drivers might have very limited experience as well, so we have to cut things cut things apart. At least 50% of people who are worse drivers, who can't navigate fast enough and don't have a good reaction time, they have to just navigate people instead. They have to sit in the back seat and make the driver comfortable with that being the case. So that's a really crazy thing, isn't it? It's almost like the 4 seats are a magical number again, because we're dealing with number 4 elements. So maybe there's something to it here, you know? Some kind of puzzle to solve to make things go faster and more efficient.
So much further away from how you're.
And we're also solving a problem of people not socializing with each other, because when you put in the social pressure position, where you're sacrificing just a little bit of social pressure, like you're gonna meet strangers or whatever, you're gonna have to deal with strangers, and we will need some kind of social credit score for traffic specifically, not for anything else. The government could potentially try and expand it, but you know, we have to understand what the reason of something existing is and not allow them to do anything stupid. So yeah, like there's solutions. They're not easy. We have to expand our consciousness. We have to truly understand how it's supposed to work, and then see what we can do about it. Think about it at least. Talk about it. And then someone's gonna pick up the business idea and all that shit. It cycles into existence. You open a portal basically slowly. So there's solutions. We have great technology. We just have to think critically, logically. We should be able to find plenty of things that we can do. And most importantly, we have to not be afraid to communicate. I'm afraid to communicate. I admit it. I'm not gonna approach people. Again, I am a fucking introvert. I think I can afford not approaching people, but I cannot afford not expressing myself. Because as an introvert, I have to create art. I have to look into structures that are being presented to me, walk around, see how people vibe around me, how they react to me, what they do. I have to express all these things somewhere, somehow. Back in the day, I would probably just write a book, but now I get a better way of doing things, and we should appreciate that.
Literally so much further away from how you evolved to live, and so it's really no wonder that loneliness goes up by 38% in.
Yeah, this is why you try to run away from cities into urban areas where you would be comfortable living. You have to find that special sweet spot, because city's not a place. When you're surrounded by a lot of strangers, you will feel lonely simply because you're not safe. You would like to talk to these people, you would like to make friends, but you know it's very, very complicated. So you have to be silent alone, surrounded by strangers, which creates a very nasty environment. So it's cool if you feel lonely, because the next step below is being scared for your life. Alright, so loneliness, maybe you can deal with that. Alright?
in somewhere and existing not just as one person, but as a key part of other people's lives as well. Most recently, the COVID lockdowns massively accelerated this process. It forced people into social isolation and made them reliant on this new way of doing things. The shock alone was enough to make millions of people much more lonely, but the lasting effects in society might be even worse. Because these lasting effects has replaced our world with something new, an isolated, empty postmodern world, where whole industries have now sprung up.
We have been challenged, basically. And yes, every time you adapt to a long-lasting change, like 2 years, COVID has been reigning supreme, you have to adapt correctly. Otherwise, you will be washed away by the floods of the apocalypse. Because this is not going to be over. Things are going to get worse and worse because new problems will be presented to you. How are you going to adapt to it? And it's a tough one now that we have a crazy population, because a lot of people are just where are they going? Where are we gonna put them? What's gonna happen? I cannot tell you, because I have no idea. I don't think I want to drill into that one to tell you your future if you fail. I mean, you should know where you're going, basically, if you fail to adapt to the changes. And again, I like that Moon brought up the COVID thing, and that it's very thematic, absolutely thematic. The whole apocalypse has the theme of loneliness, basically. So the most obvious part of being lonely is, first of all, being locked up in your little place where you don't have anyone around you anymore. And you're not really allowed to go outside besides groceries. So that's a problem. The next thing is inflation. When you notice the inequality of other people can afford things that you cannot afford anymore, you have to tighten your belt and be a little bit more jealous of people who don't even feel it. They just double the price of food, but like, fuck it. They buy the same shit. They only talk about potato chips or whatever that they cannot afford. That's luxury. That's a luxury if you cannot afford potato chips, because you're not supposed to buy them in the first place. So all these fucking people who flexing around now, they're creating an annoyance of like, I want to talk to these people, I want to tear them down, but you can't. How are you gonna do that? How are you gonna adapt to that problem? Right? It's like, I'm sitting back. I know I will survive the apocalypse. It's easy for me. I'm just like curious how many people are going to use my advice. Like there's 4 more years to come. There's going to be a third problem stacked on top of everything. How are you going to solve loneliness, guys? Because now I'm very confident in myself, but not in other people. And I don't like other people. So it's like, well, I'm gonna see you go down and I'll buy a lot of popcorn, because that's a pretty cool movie.
Adding in the toxic.
Okay, so I don't even have to talk about Tinder or whatever. Dating apps. I don't know any other dating apps. Yes, the algorithm could be manipulative in order to pick your pockets. If you have pockets, then it's like, that's how business works, boys. You have pockets, they want to pick those pockets. It doesn't even matter how they're gonna do it. If you still have to consent with your money. You have to give the money in hopes that something cool will happen. You can test the waters, but make sure that fucking it works out. Now, with Tinder, there's a special little strategy. Just go to Instagram instead. Alright, just pick their Instagrams, just go there instead. You're at least gonna have something to work with. As I've shown you, my little dates game. I already made a video about Tinder and I explained everything. Now, there's also desperate people who just want to have sex. But they're desperate, alright? They're losing real life connection, basically. Or they look hot or whatever. They're desperate. They're gonna have what they want Because they're desperate, they connect very easily with each other. Some desperate for money, some desperate for whatever. Desperation connects people very easily, but it also just bounces them from each other very easily. When uh, the uh, the connection is complete, the transaction is complete, and it's over. Right? You have those one night stands because transaction is complete. Like, you desperately were looking for something, you have it now. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. And now the price of getting this desperate connection is, I think, rising a little bit, but it still seems fair enough, for a human who supposed to have a job, supposed to have plenty of time to spend. You can do your thing. Supposed to have a car, technically. Yeah, you can just pick someone up, do something, have a date. Uh, you should be looking forward to connecting to a person a little bit more, but you also have to unlock a lot of superpowers so you have control over your life. Uh, you know, I just do masturbation. I I don't know. It seems really cool for me. I live in my fucking fantasy world, and I might not be able to recommend to everyone. Uh, but for me, it feels like a superpower now. And beyond that point, now I don't look into coincidences and I believe in psychic powers, so I'm not. I haven't stopped growing, to be honest, in that category. So I don't even know how real my superpower actually is. And we obviously don't know until I apply it in the real world, but I'm applying it to myself. I don't even know how much further I can push this concept. So yeah, sure. Uh, you must understand what you're dealing with. No one's gonna give you instructions to these applications. You have to be very careful how you spend your time. Everything is valuable in this case. You're not here to compete necessarily, but everything's just valuable in terms of your happiness. So you gotta be careful with that and make sure you collect information as much as you can. That's the way I do it.
Community or connection in their real life.
Scary stat, walking down the avenue that is America, like 1 in 3 men under the age of 30 have had sex in the last year. You hear sex and your brain fires, but the bottom line is,
Oh shit, sorry about that. I look into the fucking outside and it's like the cut grass looks so fucking horribly. It's like they're creating a wasteland. And it's and I have to listen to their stupid shit basically. The scream of grass. I might not be able to hear the scream of chicken or cows or pigs, but fucking grass screams very loud for some reason. God damn it, bro. Stop killing grass. I thought we're good for the environment or whatever. We're green, right? But yeah, like and it looks so stupid. I wish I could take a picture of that shit. You don't even need to. You don't even get to see the grass anymore. The green stuff. It's like between dirt and grass. It's like dried up grass, basically. That's how it looks like. Is that the vibe we want to project? We did a good job, guys. Good job. That's what happens when a society falls apart. People do a good job of killing people. It's good. It's still a good job. You should have a high self-esteem. Damn, it's almost like in UK I have found a way to generate love for myself, basically. Something has cracked. So I'm like, Monica and PewDiePie have the same personality. They're like wind people. But I didn't like connect the like I need that cool stuff of just having people around me and all that stuff. But I don't have a cool person next to me. What can I do? But I'm like, I'm very interested in American culture, and American culture is water. We can turn water into wind, into earth, if we just build a generator. Perhaps that's how I was operating this whole time. Trying to get that connection, and then I immediately had to go home. Because I was losing my mind with all the self-esteem, with basically a breakthrough, like a waterfall, was built for me to work on. And maybe I had to retreat from UK because it's too powerful, and I started hearing voices or whatever. I don't know, man. Also, you potentially have to position yourself in different locations. Like maybe Stonehenge is like super powerful place with the right mindset. It's actually a quite scary idea. Sanity Machine fucking pinged me with an alt account. Yeah. It's the only way to find sanity, boys. Or insanity, whatever you want. And, I'm like, wait. You do get... Like, your self-esteem is the actual definition of you. Of a person you are. It comes from self-esteem because you could sit here in your room, do nothing. Like, big and epic. I'm doing big and epic things, but I had to train myself years and years to do it. But everyone else could get stuck doing very little in their lives. You have to train yourself to break through a lot of walls. And, you know, influence market is still allowing you to interact with people, but you have to find that special way to do it that's satisfying and creates a long-lasting bond, I would say. Something meaningful. It's a tough one. Also, I'm tripping about Mr. Beast and Naruto. But that's a story for another year, almost. The worst breeding ground for loneliness is at schools, because at schools you not only learn to obey and be technically just an NPC that follows orders, but you also learn not to communicate with other people, even when you need help, when you need to solve problems. You have to, like, do things yourself all the time. And that is a brain damage moment, basically. Yes, there's a way to cheat and coordinate cheating, but there has to be a genuine way to go through school without, like, damaging yourself. You have to be friendly with everyone, and everyone can contribute something, somehow. Maybe, like, after class, just looking through... Like, everyone could do homework after class. Different pieces of homework. Everyone is just copying on each other's stuff. And that would make things more efficient. We don't want to lose time to school, right? So that would be one of the suggestions, I would say. After school, you give 10 minutes for everyone to contribute to do homework for each other, to help out somehow. That is so necessary. This could save a lot of people's fucking lives, bro.
Interaction, and it's still completely devoid of actual meaning or soul. I mean, Replica has already...
Oh, well, there is meaning if you figure out how to use it. You're not supposed to use it forever, just to create better conversation skills or whatever, but you have to have outlets in the real world to talk to real people. You have to ping as many people as possible. Maybe someone's gonna talk to you. Some scammer, you know? At least talk to scammers. I don't know. There's stuff you can do. And again, I highlight every single thing you can do on the internet, because I need all of those things just to keep sanity. So I can see past, you know, the depression of this video. Most young men are single, most young women are not. being single is pretty fucking cool. Also, it's just a playboy mechanic in the first place. And settling down with a woman now is actually a tremendous sacrifice. Women just want to fucking live in a fantasy world where everything is provided to them. It's absolute nonsense. They want so much security right now that it's just impossible for most men to actually get to that standard, basically. But what creates an opening is that they don't even want friends. You must knock on these women's doors and remind them, you can have your husband, you can make children, you still need friends though. And I'm still gonna masturbate on your pictures. I need to squeeze my lemons, bro, on something. On something different each time. Alright, so I have so many choices, but no choice actually is applicable, it seems like. But I still want to have hope, so I keep rotating different choices. And each time you rotate, you get a little bit deeper than the last time. While desperation is only going to get you, you know, hooked by a shitty person. You know, a desperate person is waiting for you. Let's say this is a society, and a man is trying to enter society. But if you do it too desperately, well, you're going to bump into a person who's going to be like, yep, you're the right person for me. The most valuable people are in here. Alright, so you have to rotate yourself and dodge the bullets each time. Dodge the wall before you hit the wall with full speed. Maybe I could speed up the process, but it seems to be working for me. Again, if you have questions, if you want me to elaborate, please do. But you have to have a little bit of context of your own for me to work with. Otherwise, it's not going to be a full video. Alright, how do we finish this? Yeah, slowly you improve. You go across the world in whatever ways you can. And explore. Again, each time you have these connections, you have these women that you care about, each time you're going to go deeper and deeper. And potentially there's something waiting for you here that you can start pinpointing and waiting for until you have that just enough skills to break through and get that dream girl, you know.
The normal disenfranchisement.
You should never feel lonely when you're growing. You know, that's kind of the whole point of being lonely. You have to be able to grow in the most hostile conditions imaginable. That way you can prove to everyone that nothing can stop you. Nothing can make you desperate. No amount of pressure will break you. And I'm in that position where, like, it's going to get more and more extreme. Especially the last year before I hit 30. Things are going to be insane. Really quickly. Because it's almost like I'm doubling my powers every, like, 3 months. Doubling powers every season. When it comes to growth, that's how it works. You know, it's quite exponential. But you have to understand in how many ways you're growing. You cannot grow exponentially in one way, just like getting viewership or subscribers. You can sort of exponentially grow subscribers, but then you're potentially missing the point. You know, now you're just being desperate. If you're being desperate, you're gonna grow something exponentially a lot faster, but you're sacrificing a lot in exchange. And I tried not to do that because the end game is pretty fucking big deal. All right, that sweet spot, I wanna get there. So it's okay to be lonely when you're growing. What is the ending?
Franchise young men's economy, making literally hundreds of billions off of it. However, Meta are the worst offenders.
I'm sure they're the worst offenders because they know how to defeat loneliness, so they're gonna force it onto other people as a challenge, as a reminder. I mean, they invented Facebook, and Europe is the most lonely place, and we just gobble it up. And it seems to work. I like it, the way it works. You have to know how to handle these things, and how to value every single item that satisfies you. You have to collect it, organize it, remember it, and you kind of take it for granted. Where, like, a girl gives you a public relationship, even just a friend, getting into a friend zone, you gotta go in there and start looting, man. You gotta slowly just drain the swamp, because she will reject you eventually. There's no way, bro. That's how I lived my life. You know, I wasn't looting, I was just simply rejected. I was trying to sort of loot a conversation, but conversations are for losers, man. And I'm a looter, I'm not a loser. Alright? I'm with the T now. I'm the T-man. Let's go, baby. I ain't seen no loser. Shut the fuck up. I'm protected from snipers.
Machines so much more.
Again, when it comes to digital looting, no one even fucking notices. And if you can't steal digital goods, I'm sorry, bro. You're one of these. That's the end, guys. But I still have to reach that sweet spot. I haven't even started, man. Getting the heat out of the girls, man. Because you have to really feel it. That they're like, you're gonna hit the wall. I need you to hit a wall, you know. They have to be just as desperate to make you hit them. So maybe first few layers you can break through and nothing is gonna happen. But things gonna intensify as you grow in power. Potentially, you know, I just broke like first few layers, and things gonna accelerate ridiculously fast when people realize what they're dealing with. No, not the term. What is this, anyways?
More profitable with the data extracted from living inside of the map.
Oh, that's a fucking women! I knew it! I fucking knew it, bro. See you guys next time.